All right, so let's get started. All right, so welcome everyone to Biz Boost Tuesday. So I'm Joyce Johnson. I'm the founder and the director of the Black Business Initiative, and I first want to start off by thanking you for joining tonight's call. This is a monthly Biz Boost call. And so this call is really my way of connecting on a variety of topics that can help you boost your business. And so if you have a topic that you would like for me to put on the call, definitely reach out and let me know. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, all at BBI Professional. So if there's something that you want to look at talking about, connect with me. I look forward to connecting with you in any of those ways. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Look, I said I was going to put the call on mute, and then I forgot to put it on mute. Oops. There we go. Okay. All right. So did that work? Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So where was I? Yes. So please connect with me. So the way I run these calls and kind of the history behind these calls, when I was doing my coaching, I was running this monthly call, and then I stopped, and I have gotten some requests to bring it back. I was doing it under my coaching business, so now I'm bringing it into the Black Business Initiative. So officially, this is the first Biz Boost call of the Black Business Initiative. But I've been doing these calls for a little while now. And so the way I run my calls, I'm going to mute the line, which I just did. And then I am going to kind of go through my talking points and give you a lot of information. And then I'm going to open up the line for comments, questions, feedback. I do try and get deep with the calls. So if you're in a position to take notes, I suggest that you do. And if not, no worries, because the replay will be on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely do that. The replay will be there. And I'm going to ask you to, if you can, to take about 20 seconds to share out that you're on this call. Again, I'm just now starting to run them on the Black Business Initiative side, and I really want to let people know that they are up and running. And so if you can share out and let people know how they can get signed up on the conference call, is to go to bizboosttuesday.com, and they can get signed up, and that will, help me to spread the word about the call. So I appreciate if you have a moment to do that. And if you are joining me for the first time, again, welcome. So I'm Joyce Johnson. I'm a mother, I'm an activist, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a wealth builder, investor, blogger, speaker, coach, but most importantly, I'm a community member. And so it's really my passion to see our communities thrive. And it's really my belief that the base in which we do that in the Black business community is to really grow a strong economy. And I believe that strong economies really create strong communities. So with that said, I hope that you've had a moment to share this out, and I'm going to jump into tonight's information. All right, so tonight's call is all about the follow-up. I was just told I'm also a sister. Yes, I am also a sister. I'll be sure to add that in my bio. All right, so tonight's call is all about the follow-up. So we've all heard the term that your net worth is in your network. And as cliche as that might sound, I promise you it is fact. So tonight, before we really, really jump in, I want you to marinate on that fact. I want you to get all warm and tingly with that fact and just love that fact that your net worth is in your network. Love that fact. And I say that because a lot of us really struggle with networking. We struggle with the thought of having to go to a happy hour or an event and put on this fake smile and pass out cards. And what do I do after I've passed out all these cards? And so we have to make sure that we remember that our net worth is in our network. And the bigger our network is, the bigger of an opportunity we have to grow our net worth. And I stress the opportunity because it really doesn't matter how large your network is if you don't utilize and work your network. So I just want you to keep in mind that networking doesn't have to be mundane. It doesn't have to be those meet and greets. It doesn't have to be, happy hour. It doesn't have to be before or after events. You should actually always be networking all the time. Always be looking for opportunities. Always be aware of who's around you and looking for what that may mean for your business going forward, right? And so I want you to understand that business success is really all about mastering the basics, and networking is a basic function of growing a strong business. So you should always, always, always be networking. Now, because of the way that we network so poorly, it can really feel like it's a chore more than a way of life. And that's why I'm saying to really fall in love with that fact that your net worth is inside of your network, and also thinking about the fact that you should always be networking. I just, I'm in Houston right now, and I just attended a birthday party for my aunt. And in that birthday party, my cousin reaches over and hands me a business card. I don't feel any way about this at all. She's letting me know, hey, because I started this different business and I want you to know about what I do. And so, we didn't take up a lot of time at the party to do that. But the idea is that, hey, I don't get to see you often. I wanted to catch you in person. I wanted to let you know about what I have going on. And so because I'm beginning to build a network here in Houston, my thought is, okay, now I know what she's got going on. Now I know what she's doing. I'm not a client for her. She's not trying to sell me. But as we continue, as I continue to build my network, I may come across someone who would be a good client for her, or I may come across someone who might need her services. So always be networking and kind of look at that as a way of life versus as a chore. So I really want to discuss why the follow-up is so important. Like, why do those that are truly successful maintain those strong networks, and those that are struggling tend to have really weak networks? So Forbes the magazine says that companies waste approximately 71% of their qualified leads. It's like you are literally leaving hundreds and thousands of dollars on the table because you do not follow up with qualified leads. So this leads us to ask, should we or should we not follow up? And I think the question should be, how do we follow up? So let's get into how we follow up. Let's assume for just a minute that you know just how important it is for you to network. So now the question is, what do you do with that pile of cards? What do you do, when you get those messages in your inbox? Are you networking outside of events? Do you follow up with your current clients? These are some of the things that you might be thinking about or should be thinking about as you think about building your network. Interesting, when I think about following up with current clients, I had a woman who I was purchasing soaps and lotions from, and I stopped purchasing soaps and lotions from her. And it wasn't intentional. It was that, she wasn't necessarily convenient, right? She wasn't inside of a store. And, one day I got low on soap and lotion. And what did I do? I went in and I went in to the store and I got some soap and lotion, right? And then all of a sudden it just wasn't that important for me to contact her. And so what happened was that she never made any contact with me. So I would see her from time to time. I would go to an event and I would see her out in the community. And when I saw her, I'd be like, hey, sis. And I'd reach out, and if I had the money, I'd go ahead and purchase something else. But she never, ever reached out to me. And so over time, I just stopped purchasing. And so it's interesting, sometimes when I think about clients, like how often are we reaching out to current clients and asking them, are they interested in purchasing for us again? In her case, she would hand me some soap and she would say, this should last you about a week. So if I bought 3 bars of soap, in my mind, in 3 weeks, she should be following up with me because I should be running out of soap, right? Or maybe 2.5 weeks. So it's certain things like that when we think about how to follow up, and being able following up with people in order for us to continue to move our business forward. The Black Business Initiative is coming up on its first year of membership. So I've already have my system in place in order for me to follow up with the very first members that the Black Business Initiative took on, because I can't guarantee that they're going to sign up again on their own. But I would increase the likelihood that they will sign up again and become a member for another year if I personally reach out to them. So we have to think about how are we, even working with our follow-up inside of our current client base in addition to the new people who we're meeting. And I have stories for days like that. I think about this caterer who never asked me if I have any more events coming up. And I run events every single month. And I've told her multiple times that I like working with her, and she never follows up with me, ever follows up with me. So I think about things like that, when thinking through this subject, like we're running a boot camp and we're using a different caterer. We're using a different caterer because my partner had a caterer and her caterer follows up with her. So we went with that caterer. So that was potentially could have been an opportunity for her to have, 4 weeks of a catering gig, but she doesn't follow up. And so, things like that. So anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just want you to think about the opportunities that you may be missing if you're not following up, even with your current clients, much less following up with some new clients. So when you follow up, are you going straight for the sell? Or are you making it kind of like a win for you type of situation? Sometimes you accept, like I know I've accepted friend requests on LinkedIn, and as soon as I accept this friend request, I get an inbox with someone trying to sell me their product or service. Of course, I don't read it. I never respond. I'm not interested. Those kind of tactics that have no relationship built behind them, if you don't like them being done to you, someone probably doesn't like you doing that to them. My mom sells a product called Relive, and she invested in this little system where if you receive notifications, if you're within a certain radius of her, it will automatically push a notification to your phone, even if you haven't agreed to accept notifications from her. And she was asking me about that system, and I said, it's so impersonal. You don't know these people. And I asked her what kind of feedback was she getting. She said, well, I haven't gotten anything from it. And I said, I know, because if you pushed a notification to my phone, I wouldn't look at it. I'd be irritated, and I wouldn't be interested in what you were saying. So a lot of times we're going straight for that sale. We haven't built any relationship. We haven't even talked to a person to determine if they're a qualified lead. Then we are really pushing ourselves out of a potential network versus into one. So I want you to think about these things. Networking is about building relationships, and that means that you must think long term. So it's easier to keep a client than it is to get a new one. And it's easier to get new ones from your current clients, meaning referrals. So keep that in mind as you continue your network. It's easier for me to keep the current clients that I have, right? So making those follow-up calls with current clients than it is for me to go and try and acquire new ones. The second thing I want you to think of is anytime you are networking, you must know your desired outcome. This is really key. All leads are not the same. Some contacts, they may be resources. Some may be connectors. Some may be collaborators. Some may be competitors. And you should know those too. You should definitely know your competitors. And so you need to know when you have met someone or when you're getting ready to do a follow-up, you need to know what is your desired outcome. The third thing I want you to think about is to go for all the fruit. Don't just go for the low-hanging fruit. And that's what we tend to do. We go to our friends. We go to our family. We go to the people it's easiest to talk to versus really, pushing for what may be a little bit more difficult or getting outside of our comfort zone. And so the point is to find people who can get you to the bigger sales or the bigger deals or the bigger clients or maybe the more consistent clients. So going, for me, going to talk to multimillionaires is now beginning to be very comfortable because I've spent time and dedication pushing myself out of that comfort zone to not just go and talk to the small business owner, but to go and talk to the large Black business owner and talk to them about why it's important for them to reinvest into the Black business community. So that's an area where I've had to push myself out, and it's become easier and easier. All right, and the fourth point is don't make this difficult. It really shouldn't be, because you should have a system, and this should be a daily activity. If you are building a business, following up and building your network should be a daily activity. You should have a system for this. So now let's talk about how you are going to make a system, not just a system, but a system that's going to generate profit. So before I dig in too deep, I want to start with a mindset. We always have to start with mindset, because as we build our businesses and as we begin to change ourselves, our current mindset is not what it needs to be in order for us to grow. Whoever you are today is not who you need to be in order for you to reach your goals. And changing who you are and not necessarily like changing the base of who you are, the cornerstone of who you are, right? But continuing to grow and develop is changing. Changing who you are requires a different mindset than where you currently stand. So let's talk about the mindset that you need to create a profitable follow-up system. First, you need to understand that you're not bothering people if you're following up effectively. And so again, that's, if you're not just diving in for a sale, especially with people who you don't have a relationship built with, you're not bothering them if you're following up effectively. The second thing with your mindset is it's going to take you more than 1 or 2 touches. We really have to be key. On average, it takes around 12 touches. If you have an industry, go and look up. Oh, everyone has an industry. That didn't come out right. Go and look up your industry and look at what is the typical amount of touches that it takes for you to convert a client in your industry. That's very key. So in your industry, so I'm giving you kind of the broad answer is it takes around 12. So if you're only following up with someone 1 to 2 times, you are not touching them enough in order for you to convert them on average. And so if you're stopping after that, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. You have to touch them more than 1 or 2 times. People are ready to buy when they want to, not when you want them to. And we have to really be aware of that. It's not even necessarily that they don't think that what you have to offer is important, but it might not be urgent to them. So keep that in mind. Okay, also, this is like following up with your network is business 101. So you really have to master this. It's business 101. You have to master the art of the follow-up and the art of networking. You also want to think win-win all the time. Think win-win. Don't think about how you're going to get a sale for yourself. Think about what are you offering that person. Part of the reason why we hate pushy salespeople is because pushy salespeople feel like they're only out for themselves, and they're not necessarily trying to sell us something that is good for us or something that we want or something that we need. So if we don't like that being done to us, then it should be our goal not to do that to the next person. You may come across someone who really doesn't need your services. I come across people all the time who say, how can I be a part of the Black Business Initiative? I don't have a business. Then the Black Business Initiative really isn't for you. And I'm not so concerned about having a sale that I try and convince you to buy something that isn't for you. Now, as soon as you think about having a business, come on over. We're the right group for you. So, we have to think about win-win scenarios. Okay, and then the last one on the mindset is you want to nurture a relationship to get the most from it. So stop with the sales pitch. Don't go with the hard sale. When we think about sales pitches, you should have a sales pitch, but think about the proper time and place for a sales pitch. When you meet someone, a sales pitch isn't always for that. A sales pitch really should probably be reserved for when someone specifically asks you what you do. And even then, you should probably find a way to do it so that it doesn't really sound so pitchy. But also, for investors and, there's times and places for a sales pitch. But just, walking and meeting someone, that's not necessarily the place. You should think about nurturing a relationship in order to get the most out of them. So let me jump into how you're going to create a profitable follow-up system. So once you really start working on those mindset pieces, let's talk about what you are now going to actually do. The first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to implement a CRM system with templates. So a CRM system is a customer relationship manager. Some people call them CRSs or customer relationship systems. But you want to get one, and you want to create some templates. So let's talk about the CRM. You're going to use a CRM to track your network. So remember, there are different types of people that you're going to meet. Some are vendors, some are suppliers, some are resources. Some of them may be team members, collaborators, etc. So when you're setting up your CRM system, you want to create different categories so that you can, again, know who it is that you're dealing with and know what the desired outcome is for that contact. The second thing you want to do is you want to use templates for easy follow-up. You want to create 1 or 2 standard emails and 1 or 2 standard maybe voicemails that you can leave for when you're making calls or when you're sending out emails that you can do after an event or after, a time that you meet someone, that you come across them, that you've exchanged information. You want to have some templates. You may find that the templates don't work for every situation, and that's okay, but we're talking about creating a system that makes the average contact that you meet be easy to follow up with. And so one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm going to send out to everyone on this list is a couple of my email templates that I like, and you can tailor those to your liking, but I just want to make sure that I get that information out to everyone when we're looking at creating templates. But you want to go ahead and create some templates. The third thing you want to do is you want to automate. There are systems that will push straight to voicemail. So even when you're making calls, you don't have to sit on the phone and call everyone. You can push out a voicemail to them. You have the templates that we just talked about, which help you automate your email responses. You also have autoresponders. You want to use those in the right way, but those are some things that can help automate to be sure that you've touched someone or that they're not just kind of hanging out there without a response from you. And then you also want to do things like use a calendar or a reminder system. So if I meet you today is not a good day, but you want me to follow up with you in a week, I don't want to forget that. So I want to make sure I have a way to put a reminder in my phone that in a week I'm going to then follow up with you. So those are going to be some of the things that help you automate. Now, the next thing you want to do, the fourth thing here, is you want to add value. Here is where the money is. As I've mentioned multiple times, you can't just come up with a hard sell. You don't like it when people do it. You don't want to do it to people. So this is why you should shy away. This is usually why people do shy away from the follow-up, is because of the hard sell. So the first thing is you have to keep notes in this, right? Become valuable. Pass along resources. Send content that may be helpful. Become a connector between that person and someone else that maybe they're looking for. Keep note. When I'm saying keep notes, you want to keep notes on the conversation. Was there any key thing that they said they needed, that they liked, that they were thinking of? And as you keep some of those notes, when you come across something, you might say, hey, I remember this, and you think of that person, right? So now you can send this to them. You haven't sold them at all. You're not trying to sell them, but what you are doing is you're staying at the top of their mind. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you're passing along resources and being helpful in other ways. You want to add value. And then the last part of your system is you want to schedule in time every single day. You want to work to include some form of building your network every single day. Okay, so those are the five areas. So we're actually a little over time, so I'm going to wrap this up kind of quickly. In closing, I really want to urge you to leave your comfort zone, and I want to challenge you, like a for real challenge. It is still the beginning of 2018. I promise you, if you work your network for the next 3 months, the next 90 days, you work your network every month, every day in order to grow your network, you will see a change in your business. So here's a real challenge. I really want you to get off this phone and I want you to create your system. You can sign up for an actual CRM. Some organizations have them already, but you can sign up for a CRM. You can sign up for Zoho, Salesforce, HubSpot. All of those have some free version of a CRM. And if you really want to get deep into it, they have a paid version. Most of the time, if you're getting started, the free version would work. Sign up for a CRM. Create those categories that we talked about. So think about the different types of people and places and things that you would potentially meet. I come across potential sponsors. That's a category for me. I come across different foundations. as I get into the impact investment world, that's a different type of category for me. So think about the categories of people and places where you would like to build or need to build, or the people that you kind of come across, and put out those categories in your CRM. The third thing is you want to enter in your contacts. Most of these systems have an import feature, so you don't have to go entering them in one by one. But once you do your import, you actually want to take a couple of hours to go in and organize it. I promise you the hours would be well worth your time. Organize it and add your notes. Add who this person is. Make sure you put them in the right category and create your first thought about what you're going to do to follow up with that person. So you want to create your follow-up emails and voicemail templates, and then you want to begin a schedule. Now, you may want to contact current clients on a schedule based on the last time they've purchased from you. It totally depends on the way your business works, but think through the last time that someone purchased from you, are they due to use your product or service again? Those may be some of the first people you want to follow up with. You may want to reach out to potential collaborators. That is a income producing or income generating activity, is to reach out to potential collaborators and see how you may be able to collaborate and come up on a project or something of that sort that will help to further your business. Okay, but you want to think about beginning your schedule, and in your daily to-dos, whatever it is that you do daily, you want to add in or schedule in time to follow up with the appropriate amount of people for your industry. So some industries will require way more following up than other industries. It really depends on what it is that you're doing, so I don't want to put out a number there, but make sure that every single day you're following up with the recommended amount of people based off of your industry average or standard. And really, if you want to see an increase, I would say double that. If your industry average is 10, then you reach out to 20 people each day. This could be brand new people and people that you already know. So think about that. And then 6 would be to work your system daily. So get your CRM, create your categories, enter your contacts and your notes, create your follow-up email and voicemail templates, begin a schedule, and then work your system daily. 90 days. I challenge you, 90 days, and you will see a change in your business. So before I wrap up, I just want to let you know that the Black Business Initiative is a membership organization, and we are the fastest growing Black business organization in the Metro Denver area. I invite you to check us out. If you're not familiar with us, you can check us out at bbiprofessional.com.